Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Billy Roberts. Billy Roberts is the CEO of Wedge Financial, the first smart debit card that lets users pay for everyday purchases with any asset. Founded in 2021, the fintech startup is the first of its kind for offering the ability to use assets for everyday spending, giving users the ability to benefit from market movements of over 4,000 different stocks, ETFs, and cryptocurrencies. Previous to Wedge, Billy founded Restream Solutions, a data-driven oil-filled solutions company for the exploration and production industry. Well, good afternoon, Billy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome again. And like we were talking before we hit that record button, Billy, is I do traverse the world. I get this amazing opportunity of speaking with great people like yourself and get to share your story with the world. So again, thank you. And Billy, we're going to jump right into these questions. You've got quite the career as an engineer, a senior executive, an entrepreneur, and now you're the CEO of Wedge Financial. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, from my perspective, the secret to my career growth has really just been centered around, being very focused and diligent about surrounding myself with just really amazing people. So I got really, really lucky right out of college to kind of fall into a business with a very successful, very creative group of folks. And they kind of help put me on a path towards getting to where I am today. But kind of along that journey, the recurring theme and kind of the aspect of it that I'm most thankful for is just, being able to work with tremendous folks that, are passionate about the different projects that we're working on. And to that end, I like to think of myself as a product guy. I like building new things. I like thinking about new problems and seeing problems through a different lens. But I think the thing that inspires me or motivates me or gets me most excited is just really seeing what a group of folks can do when they're all paddling in the same direction. You surround yourself with great folks. We kind of align around a certain vision or a certain idea, and then just being able to kind of see what people are capable of when they're working together. And you got a good culture that's supportive of all that.
That's awesome. We talked a lot about this on the show. Gosh, it's got to be daily about people, culture, giving back, finding your passion. All those seem to kind of be the general theme of this show. But I appreciate that. Really, really do. Love what you're doing with your company. And Billy, tell us a bit more about your first of its kind debit card that allows people to purchase items with any asset.
Yeah. So we started Wedge about 17 months ago. And really the genesis of it was kind of taking a look at the fintech space and really coming to terms with the fact that, as Americans, we spend about 95% of our income, only save or invest about 5% of it. But when you look at a lot of the innovation that's been focused in the space, it's really been on that 5%. And when we look at kind of that 95%, the money that's going towards spending for, everyday goods and services and rent and all that good stuff, you had the development of some neobanks and some things like this, but not anything that really got to the root of what we want our finances to do, which is, help us, efficiently and smartly exchange value for goods and services. So kind of from that perspective, that's where Wedge started. And when we're thinking about what can we do with that 95%, being fintech users ourselves, we had a whole bunch of different accounts with different cards and, retail investing apps and crypto exchanges and all this stuff. And it was all kind of disjointed and fragmented. And so what we wanted to do with Wedge and what we built is really build a platform that brings together all those different functional capabilities to a point of sale with this next gen smart debit card. And what that means is you can have one card connected to a whole bunch of different sources that provides very, very clear red light, green light indications as to which asset you could spend with at any point in time to get the most bang for your buck. So Functionally, what that means for me is, I've got a Bank of America account. I've got my Wedge bank account. I've got a whole bunch of different stocks and ETFs and crypto types and all that. And every time I go swipe my Wedge card, I get a notification, and Wedge shows me which one of those different asset classes I could spin with to extract the most value from the system at that particular point in time. And so that's what's really, really unique and exciting about Wedge is for the first time, you've got this one-to-many paradigm. One card, any asset, you swipe it, and you can start spending for everyday goods and services in the way that works best for users. And what we've seen to date, when we evaluate ourselves against other payment options like, credit cards, other debit cards, and so forth is, the core Wedge users are extracting about 10% of value out of the system by having this new capability relative to, some of your top tier credit cards, which are giving you about 2% cash back. So it's right out of the gate using Wedge, our users are getting about 5x the return just by having this new capability.
That's awesome. Billy, you and I have done probably a lot of different transactions over the years as far as credit cards and different things, but it's great to hear that there is an alternative now, especially when credit cards easily are charging 16, 18, 27%, depending on your credit. I think it's outrageous that they can get away with that. So thank you. I appreciate that. And Billy, you're obviously leveraging some new and emerging technologies within your tech stack. We talk about it here on this platform. Is there anything you might be able to share with us today?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we started Wedge, what's interesting, and this is the first time I've done this with a business, is we really started with a regulatory focused framework first. And got a great team of legal experts in the financial services space to help us kind of map out how can we go do what we want to do, kind of within the realm and within the spectrum of the current U.S. Regulatory framework, as well as what could we be seeing on the horizon as it pertains to crypto and money transmission and all that. So, kind of starting from there, what we built was a platform that really enabled us to connect to all these different funding sources and provide real-time visibility into the value of those different sources in a way that could be presented cleanly to the user. And so what that means is, we've got technologies that allow us to not only look at your balances from a cash perspective at different institutions, but understand, what could be pending against those accounts. Same thing on the brokerage side, right? So obviously, folks want to be able to buy and sell fractional securities through their Wedge platform, but they might have securities elsewhere that they want to be able to connect in. And so what we built was essentially this spider web of different connected endpoints that allowed us to understand the real-time value of all these different assets so that when you go swipe your card, our platform can then calculate and understand what asset's going to give you the most bang for the buck. And so really the secret sauce of Wedge is kind of providing all those different connections, but also being able to generate that real-time liquidity engine if you want to be able to use, for example, Tesla stock or something to buy something. And so that's really the root of what we've worked out with our funds flow and our different partnerships is, connecting to all these different sources, but then also being able to connect and provide that real-time liquidity engine to where you can actually go buy a cup of coffee with Apple stock or, go to an ATM and pull out money that was seconds before, held in your Bitcoin wallet.
That's so cool. There's a lot of flexibility about that in this space today. And I've seen apps out there or platforms like Redcoin where you can tip through this social currency now. And I think this is awesome. I think you're in the right space. I know you are. And because we're doing the same thing here with the publishing platform. We're built on the blockchain technology, and we actually mint NFTs with all this content, this beautiful content like yours that we're going to share out to the world. So awesome. So cool. Billy, last question for you. Can you share something from your career experience that would be helpful for those looking to grow their career in fintech or entrepreneurship?
Oh, absolutely. So, when we started, I talked about the importance of, surrounding yourself with amazing folks. I think that's a really, really important part of it. But the example I give, or the hardest lesson learned for me, is really being honest, diligent, and focused on, developing product market fit and a go-to-market strategy. And quite honestly, historically, I've conflated the two more than once. I thought one was the other and the other was, the former. And the mistake I see a lot of, my colleagues make, I've got a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs and so forth, is not putting in the resources and the investment early in your development to really understand your product market fit, and let that product market fit be driven by actual customer data, and then using that to really develop a comprehensive go-to-market strategy with the understanding that it's an evolutionary process. Products evolve, markets evolve, and so forth. But the lesson that I've learned many times, and that I suspect for better or for worse I'll continue to learn, is that those two things are very, very important, and very easy to kind of overlook early in the development of a business, and can kind of get overshadowed by, that institutional inertia that, founders especially bring to the table when they think they have a great idea, myself included. And so that would be, and I would say that is the piece of advice that I give most often is really invest the resources to understand those two parts of your business as rapidly as you can.
Billy, thank you. That was awesome. Again, shared a few of your gems with our audience today, and it's going to be so helpful. So thank you. And Billy, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having me on, Brian. I really appreciate it.
Bye for now.